जय हिंद दोस्तों, मैं हूं मेजर मोहम्मद अली शाह और आज मेरा बहुत बड़ा सौभाग्य है मैं एक ऐसी शख्सियत के साथ गुफ्तगू में होऊंगा who needs no introduction at all. Many people already know him, not just in the education field or in the defense sector, but otherwise he has a very solid reputation. He has headed the best, or he has served in the army firstly. That makes him a true hero. He has served in the most difficult terrains and more so ever in Tawang. That is one area which is in news right now, currently. We will talk about that as well. He has served in the most difficult terrains. He has headed the most prestigious school of the country. We will come to that. Just to name a few of them, just for your understanding, like Military School Ajmer, my alma mater, Lawrence School Lovedale, the Cathedral in Lonavala, and many others in Pune. We will come to that as well. And he has had an illustrious career. Somebody who saw me for the first time when I was barely 3 years old. Yes, in a place called Tanga Valley. That's Tawang, what we are discussing about right now. So anyway, I know he's very, very busy, but without taking much time, firstly, and yes, I take the opportunity in wishing you all a very happy Vijay Divas. What better? Speaking to Colonel YVHS Prasad, the headmaster of my alma mater, this old school tie, the tie that I'm wearing on Vijay Divas. Sir, Jai Hind, and thank you very much for spending time for us, sir.
Jai Hind. Pleasure meeting Major Ali. It's always a great pleasure. It's always a great pleasure to meet old boy, old Laurentian.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, Josh aa gaya bilkul. You know, when I heard this old Laurentian, it's something which gives me goosebumps, and it's a matter of pride. I take a
Absolutely.
lot of pride. Sir, sir. Sir, let's start from the very beginning. Let me first, what motivated you to join the army, sir?
Oh, this is a question asked by many people at many times. I don't know. Sometimes it's your destined, and right from the childhood, I'm not saying for the sake of saying. Right from the childhood, as I can say, by the age of 5 years onwards, somehow I always wanted to join armed forces. And way back when I was doing my grade 10 in a place called Srikakulam in Andhra Pradesh, there was some disturbance, separate Andhra agitation was going on. And a battalion of a company of Gurkha regiment was deployed in our city. They were on the outskirts. We all went there on cycles to see them. The first time I saw a Gurkha Jawan holding a 9mm carbine, somehow hit me that I said I would like to join only one regiment, that is Gurkha regiment, or second option was the Sikh regiment. These are the two options I had. But as luck would have it, I have no siblings. I am the only child in the family. In Andhra, joining Indian Army is considered as one of the not so very sought after professions. Everybody believes that unless you are a doctor or engineer, you are good for nothing. Somehow I decided to continue my studies, and after my post graduation, one day, the NCC company commander asked me. I had deep roots in NCC. I have done my C certificate and also represented my state in the Republic Day parade in 1979. Then he asked me, Prasad, what are you doing? I said, sir, I'm just finishing my post graduation. He said, why don't you join Army Education Corps? I said, what's that? Then he asked me to come to his office and fill up a form, and that's how the whole journey started.
So I was in conversation with Colonel Santosh Babu, Mahavir Chakra, and the Galwan hero. I was in conversation with his father yesterday, and same thing he said. Because from Andhra again, it was. But after the Galwan incident, after Colonel Babu attained martyrdom from his village, where people were not willing to join the army, suddenly it was everybody now wanted to join the army, and this time when they had
Absolutely, Ali, you said it. Not only the post Galwan incident. In fact, late 90s, after the slowly and steadily, the people have realized that army is a very fruitful tenure and very educative, and at the same time very challenging, very adventurous also. Somehow the mindset has changed from, of course, still the old mindset is still there. People first choice is a doctor or engineer and migrate to US. But a lot of people are looking at army as a viable profession, and not for the sake of any perks. They want to serve the country. They want for the pride of the uniform. They want to join the armed forces.
So,
In fact,
so
many girls are also joining in the Sainik School Korkonda, which is in Andhra Pradesh. Already about a first batch of girls are undergoing their schooling in Sainik School. They must be in the grade 7 now.
so let's go forward about your academy days. I know you were a very, very good cadet, and but let's talk about your posting in the much talked about right now, Tawang. So,
Yeah,
when I would tell people that I did my nursery from, I started my school from a place in Arunachal on the Indo-Tibet border, a place called Tanga Valley. So, like Tanga Valley, where's that? Though Northeast is beautiful. It's so, and unfortunately, very few people have the awareness of Northeast. Unfortunately,
absolutely.
I
That's
wish
right.
people were more aware of it. So, people would ask me, Tanga Valley, where's that? So, I would say it's in Arunachal on the Indo-Tibet border and Tawang, Taiwan. No, Tawang. Tabang, what? So Kirmu, they won't understand. But now, even a small child knows where Tabang is. So let's talk about your posting in Tabang, sir, and
Yeah,
how was it?
Ali, I have not been to Tawang after 1984, but when I see the recently I've seen the pictures of Tawang in the television, I couldn't believe myself. It was tremendous infrastructure development, and I've seen how much the government has really worked hard to realize worked hard to bring up the infrastructure there, especially the road connectivity. Uh, I was attached with the infantry battalion which was located in Gacham. It is little ahead of Tanga Valley towards Bombadilla. And from Gacham, it used to take us 2 days to reach Tawang. First day we used to reach Sangay transit camp, and the second then there is some accommodation that used to take place because Tawang is 10,000 plus. So after that 6 7 days we were again inducted to Tawang Valley. There, that's how things used to be, and we used to roads are very narrow, and landslides were plenty there. Just below, ahead of before Sela Pass. Sela Pass was a very difficult pass to cross in those days, and there was a lot of landslides. They were named as Helen Point and Padma Point. They used to call them, and whenever the landslide is there, we used to get stuck in the transit camps for days together, unless the landslide is clear. So life was pretty tough. From Tejpur to reach Tawang, it used to take 3 plus days, almost 3 to 4 days time. Today, I'm sure in one day one can reach from Tejpur to Tawang by road. It's possible now. And I had the opportunity of participating in a large number of, quite about 6 to 7 long-range patrols. I had the opportunity to participate in that. So it has given me a wonderful opportunity to see the landscape, the terrain, and the bunkers which were made during way back in the 1962. Some of them were still intact, and in the around the heights of the Bombdila and the Munna camp, and these are the places where still bunkers were intact, which our Indian troops have fought in 1962. So, and we had our op location in Tawang. I lived almost 6 months in the space next to the Gompa in a slope in a grassland, where it was on left side we had the Bhutan, and for the right side we had those hills of towards Bumla, the Chinese border. And after that, we had our location at Bumla also. We used to trek down to Bumla, and as a link patrol, we used to carry the newspapers and some chocolates to the post commander there in Bumla. And it was a very, very tough. There was no road existing from Tawang towards Bumla in 1984. Absolutely no road existing. It's have mules. Everything has to move on mules in those days. Now things have changed, and mobility is easy now, and the troops movement is also quite easy. It's a fantastic thing. It's really the need of the hour. Otherwise, it's very difficult to sustain the troops there and fight a battle.
So, but I commend your memory. One thing, when we met you, reminded me of a black Labrador that we had when I was 3 years old that time.
Yeah,
Jesse. We
I,
lived in
I,
a farm.
I vividly remember that was a very cold evening. I was doing the acclimatization in the Sangha transit camp, taking a walk on the road and looking at the vehicles coming down after the oplet from the top to going down. We used to offer them a cup of tea because they're all driving down from Tawang. Its drive is also quite arduous. The road is very narrow, very treacherous. So we made a tea point used to serve, and we met General Shah that time. Major Shah offered me a cup of tea, and we found your Labrador there in the jeep also, the Willy jeep there. I still vividly remember that incident.
So that's very sweet. In fact, that her name is Jessie, and she had come to us at that time only, and in Tanga, the first
Yeah,
trip.
it was a young boy, and it was under training. Your General Shah was using the dog whistle also. I first time I saw the dog whistle he was using that time.
Correct, sir, correct, sir. Commendable. Hats off to your memory. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because when you remind me, I said, yes, sir, you are so right. You are so right, sir. So, how much service did you have when you were in Tawang? I mean, was it your first post?
I was just a few months old. In fact, 1983, 84 January, I reached Gacham, and 84, entire 84, most of the 84, I was there in Tabang most of the time.
Sir. And did you
And
ever have any?
pardon.
Please, sir, please go ahead, sir.
Tabang, there was only a battalion location was there in Tabang that time. I remember one infantry battalion was there. For the reasons of security, I am not disclosing the name of the unit. And I hats off to the CO. He made first. He tried to make a road towards Pang Tang So. Pang Tang So is a lake which is about an hour, 2 hours journey distance. In the hills, we count the distance in time. So it used to be about 2 hours, 1.5 to 2 hours by trekking, and they tried to make a road by joining the boulders together. A brand new one-ton vehicle used to be classified within 6 months' time. That was the such a treacherous terrain was that, and he first time taken initiative to make a kind of a road to up to Pangtang. So after Pangtang, so to go to Bumla, you have to go on a mule convoy to sustain them to carry out the rations and fuel and whatever the ammunition, what are the administrative requirement items used to carry on mules only. And the path is also quite dicey because at Mila Nagula Pass, the path was very narrow. Mules used to slip and injure there. Many of them sustained injuries at that time. So life was pretty tough, and there is a acute shortage of officers also, and every post has to be manned by an officer, and the officer has to be there in the night time 100%. The posts have been manned, so the leave for the officers is also a big constraint in those days. I've seen that, and some officers used to be there in the post for on months on together, about 4 to 5 months together on a post.
सर सर कभी आपका ऐसा आमना सामना हुआ है चीनी सैनिकों के साथ उस टाइम पे when you did you have a did you ever I will not call it a face off right now but I will say did you make contact with the Chinese army since it's all a perception the line of actual control sir.
Uh, we did not have any face-to-face contact, but we had telltale signs of their entry into our territory. It was noticed that a large number of people used to come inside our territory and spend some time and retreat back into their territory. It was though the boundary was not clearly marked, but we could see their empty packets of cigarettes, some leftovers in the areas. That's the indication that those people came inside and stayed for some time in the night time and gone back. But we never had any during my time. We never had any kind of incursion or any kind of physical contact with the Chinese that time.
Sir, sir and you spent a total of how much sir about 3 years 2 years in that area sir.
1 year. I was there
1 year.
entire 1984. After that, I moved out of Tangavani.
Right, sir. Sir, let's talk about now. Because I know I'm jumping forward, sir. So you were heading the military school Ajmer while in service as an officer, as a as a lieutenant colonel, you were the helm of affairs of military school Ajmer. So tell us a bit about your stint with the military school, sir, and how many people from there actually were motivated to join the army and such things, sir.
Uh, before taking over as the principal of the military school, I had a tenure as a headmaster of the Sainik school at Kunchpura also. Kunchpura is one of the first five schools set up by the government in the 60s. Um, it's a very tough assignment. After that, I had a tenure to on a deputation to one of the neighboring countries, and for a 1 year tenure I had. After coming from there, I
They also
was
you were heading a school, sir. They also you were heading a school in the neighboring country.
no, no, no. In the neighboring country, we are as a kind of a imtrod, the training team,
Got it, sir. Sir,
part of the military training team.
got it, sir.
And then after coming from there, I was selected for the heading the military school Ajmer. Again, one of the very old schools. During my time, we have celebrated the 75th anniversary of the school, and I had the fortune of hosting Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, then the President of India. He was kind, gracious enough to come and spend time with the students and motivate them, and gave a wonderful address to the children. All the cadets fondly remember those days.
So
Um,
I've seen those wonderful pictures with you and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I've seen those
yeah,
pictures,
yeah,
wonderful pictures.
yeah,
Sir.
absolutely. That was we are very fortunate to have him. One of the very military schools, the first military school to have him as the president as chief guest for his 75th anniversary.
Sir. So then, after you had your stint at Ajmer, now something which really interests me personally. I am very intrigued to know about this, sir. So thereafter, you went as headmaster, Lawrence School, Lovedale. I would call it the best school in India, and I'm not being biased. And so, how did that come about, sir? From military school Ajmer, how did the offer of going on the helm of affairs of the best school in India come about, sir? And please pardon me, that does not mean the other schools that you've headed, they were also
Uh,
very good. But I am a personal bias, sir.
Right, right. Sometime back, when I was when I was under deputation to in the neighboring country, first time I had seen the United Nations peacekeeping force and people from the UN, the work culture and everything impressed me a lot. And the first time I thought that I should take an opportunity. I should, if I get an opportunity to join UN forces, I should join to switch over to UN. That's the first thought of leaving army came into my mind. After that, my tenure, I came back to Ajmer. That is the time we used to meet in the All India Principals Conference. We used to meet. We used to hear a lot about Lawrence School, both the Lawrence School Sanagar and the Lawrence School Lovedale. So many times it was considered as one of the best schools in the country in those days. So in the conferences, we used to exchange notes and hear a lot about their schools, their heritage, and their culture and and the students and the life out there. Somehow it was in my mind registered somewhere. It registered that it's a wonderful opportunity in case one gets opportunity to work in the such a school, such an organization. As my luck would have it, there was a vacancy, and I happened to apply, and I was selected. That's how I had taken a premature retirement from army. That's where we met you. Again in the army headquarters. That time we bumped into each other, and then you know the story how I
Sir,
finally
of
got
course, sir.
released from the army and taken over the headmaster of the Lawrence School. It is
You
it's
you
a
you
definitely
got,
a
you
challenging.
got the release nick on time, sir. Nick on time. You got the release from the army, nick on time, sir. I mean,
Absolutely.
correct me if I'm wrong. Had you been late by a day, perhaps you would have missed out on the opportunity or our school would have missed out on the opportunity of having you as the headmaster. Am I right in saying that, sir?
Yes, there was certain issues about my relinquished my appointment. Somehow things worked in my favor. God is kind, and I was destined to be there in Lovedale. That my stars worked in my favor, and I got released. Otherwise, it was not easy to get a release in that during that time. Somehow, thanks stars that got released, and in time, I of course there was a urgent need of headmaster, the head of the institution there, and they are also pressing hard. Somehow, I was there in time.
sir. So, since you remembered our dog Jessie, the black Labrador, so we also have a very, very clear memory of the Doberman you had at Lovedale. In fact, when you took over the school, I came to meet you. In fact, I
Yeah,
came over time, and that time, along with me, I was accompanied by my sister, my elder sister, whose husband is in the Navy, and
I,
their small, as old as I was in Tanga Valley, Tawang Kirmu, that as old as that was this little young brat, my sister's son, my nephew Ayan, and
Ayan, I know
Ayan
he
was about.
passed out as a head boy. Wonderful, excellent head boy. I've seen his pictures leading the parade and all. I remember every bit of it. In fact, here I would like to share a few thoughts. It's not easy for a service officer coming from a background of heading the Sani school and military school and coming back to head a public school such as the Lawrence School. Though it had a lot of military ethos, military background, in 1858 it was set up as a asylum for the children of the orphans of the British forces. So it had a legacy of army definitely. Somehow there was apprehensions among the people that how can a person with a military background can lead a public school of this stage. But somehow I could adapt myself to the changing environment, the culture, the people, the language. A lot of unlearning has to take place from the military. About more than 2 decades, I was in army, so it was a testing time for me to do a lot of unlearning and relearning the things in the civil, absolutely in the civil atmosphere, and somehow everything worked in place, and I I moved on.
अच्छा, सर फौजी आदमी जो होता है वो किसी माहौल में ढल जाता है। हम
Yeah,
रेगिस्तान राजस्थान में भी वैसे ही आराम से रह
that,
लेंगे, हम लेह लद्दाख के
absolutely.
बर्फीले चट्टानों में भी वैसे ही रह लेंगे सर।
You said it absolutely. With that spirit, only I took up the challenge. I know that it's a challenge, but as you rightly said, we are there in deserts, in high altitudes, in the insurgency areas and the jungles. Wherever there you they put you, army puts you, you will adapt to that and survive and do well. So that instinct only, that spirit only pulled me up, and of course, it is a great learning experience. Definitely a great learning experience.
So, so I'm remembering this incident. I had got Ayan to Lovedale, and we had come to your house, and you were very kind and very gracious to offer a cup of tea, and we were there,
No, it's
and
always.
even though there was a board member at your place at that time, sir, and he was wearing a very fine, thick layered coat. I was just admiring his coat, a check coat. I still remember that. And suddenly, from nowhere, so your Doberman came charging from top. And I think he wanted to answer nature call or whatever. He came desperately down. And Ayan was a small little boy. I just lifted him up. I lifted up Ayan. And this neighbor, this Doberman actually caught the hand of the board member, if you would remember, sir.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
you were so embarrassed. You were like, no, drop, drop, drop. And then he
I
dropped.
know
And then he,
that was Ali. I don't know how you remember that. That was a very rare occasion where the name of the Doberman was Tiggy. Tiggy never attacked anybody. Tiggy, I used to leave Tiggy in the school campus. It is roam freely and play with the children. Everybody can touch him and pet him, and he never said. But somehow that day, I don't know what has happened. It pounced on the board member, and it was since then. I mean, next time also when he happened to come to our house, also it's behaved in the same manner. Somehow there was something not connected. That was a very first time I've seen this fellow, yeah, behaving that manner. The dog, and dogs, I don't know, they have their own psychology and they behave that way.
sir. And so Ayan was very, very small. And then Ayan, I told him, my sister studied there, my cousins were there. So we had this whole tradition of people going to Lawrence School, Lovedale. So Ayan would associate as a small child, oh, whether the dog came, the Doberman came to attack, then we told him, no, no. Then he started loving dogs there after. So very
Yeah.
unfortunately, after that, sir, what happened? This Diggy was picked up by a tiger or a
Leopard,
leopard, perhaps
leopard or
somehow.
a wild dog. It generally we leave him before going to sleep. We leave him for a few minutes to outside to ease out, and it never came back. And I searched everywhere, but I could locate. There was a history. One of the predecessors, previous headmaster's dogs were picked up by leopard. Uh, I was told Mr. Harshwal's dog was picked up by a leopard, and my dog was also must have been picked up by a pack of wild dogs or a leopard, because there are
Oh,
incidents of leopard picking up the stray dogs and dogs in and around the school.
oh, that is very
That's very
unfortunate,
unfortunate.
sir.
We
Very,
could
very
not
sad
recover
because we
anything,
are a
either
dog
a
lovers.
collar, its collar, or any remnants. We could not look at. I searched a lot for about 15-20 days, but nothing could be found.
Very, very sad, sir. Very, very sad. That's like really very sad because our headmaster during our time, Mr. Dev Lahiri, sir, he
Similarly.
was very fond of horses and dogs,
I know.
and
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
he had a dog. In fact, when he was at Doon School, he had a dog called Bagheera and a German Shepherd. And I still remember Bagheera. It looked like a wolf, pure breed. It looked solid. And then, of course, he had Chief when we were at Lawrence School, Lovedale. So when we would see Chief was the dog's name, we would see Chief, anyone on the prowl, we knew. Headmaster on the prowl, better behave yourself.
No, he's a great dog
Same.
lover, and he used to train the dogs also. I read an anecdote about him. He used to put an electric collar to the dogs and control them. Suppose you call them, if they don't come, he used to switch on the electric button and the battery button. So it used to give a little bit of shock to the dogs. So that's not a really. People say it's not a animal friendly thing to control the dogs, but maybe one of the ways to train the dogs, I believe, for obedience.
Sir. So and but we were like as children, we used to see our headmaster, charismatic personality, fabulous orator. He would wear that black robe in enter large hall steps, and we would see our headmaster. Similarly, sir, when you were there, and in fact, we were there during one of your swearing in ceremony. We didn't dare to enter the school. And that's the time, sir. Sherbir Panag was being sworn in as the head boy, and General
Correct.
Panag was the chief guest for that function. So we saw the CMP and the military police at the gate. So we knew there was a function going on. So we turned back from there. But sir, what memories, what attachment, solid sir. And let me tell you, I think you are a more Laurentian than many Laurentians there because you spent full 5 years there. Some Laurentians
Absolutely.
spent 2 years, some spent 3 years, 4 years, some also spent 5 years. I was very fortunate to spend my entire childhood and I finished 12th from there. So I would say, sir, how connected do you feel to a Laurentian? Because you are a Laurentian, I would say yourself, in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like it's bonding. Ali, I can't explain in words. Um, every day there's not a single day passes without spend in. I spend a lot in my memory. I spend a lot of time uh, with my memories of the Lawrence School. It may be looking after the youngster joining the prep school, making him settle down, or a kind of issues with the ninth grades or 11th grades and 12th grades. So many things, and the teachers, amazing. It's like a huge community. He is a huge community, wonderful community living, and everybody one for all and all for one kind of a culture there, and it's superb. And the best thing is, we had children from a very rich families, but they never brought their wealth into the school. They are so grounded, and they are one. Everybody was comfortable. Everybody was one level playing field. Absolutely, Lawrence School. That's what it teaches. That's what the bonds are so strong. That's why across the globe there are so many
Exactly,
Laurentians.
sir.
It's now more than 160-year-old institution, and one word from a Laurentian makes everybody move across the globe. Tremendous alumni spirit,
Exactly, sir. Exactly,
and I
sir.
was very fortunate.
True, sir.
It
So
will be a great
whatever I
pleasure.
am today,
Say again, Ali.
sir.
Say again. I
So
could.
whatever I am today, so I was
Absolutely.
saying whatever I am today, I owe it all to my alma mater, to my school. Our school made us; it shaped us completely, sir. Sir,
I
after Lovedale, you went.
Yeah, see, the motto is one thing. The motto of the school really drives every Laurentian. Never give in. It's a charismatic motto. That's really makes them do the impossible things also. Never give in is the thing which really becomes their DNA of every Laurentian.
Very true, sir. Very true. Sir, I met you after that at in Lonavala in Cathedral when you were heading Cathedral, and you were very kind and gracious to consider me to come there as a chief guest. And I that's the first time ever in my life I wore that gown and that convocation hat, and I felt very good. And in fact, supermodel Aditi Govrikar's daughter was studying there in the school, and I remember meeting her. And I must tell you, sir, honestly speaking, I was so impressed. I was so impressed by your school. In fact, Avinash Jha, he was there in your school. He was like your
Yes, yes.
adjutant in a way.
Admin.
I remember everything, and the way the way you hosted me. I don't know, sir, what to say.
No,
I
no,
was
no.
overwhelmed.
It's all upbringing. Whatever all I am. Again, what as you said, whatever I am today is because of the Indian Army and the institutions where I really groomed me. Not only this institution groomed the students, the institutions also groomed the staff, including the principal, the head of the institution also. We a lot of things gets rubbed down to us. Like when I was in military school, again there is a different environment. In the Chinese school, different environment, and I have a connect with the Kungians. I have connected with the Georgians. I have to connect with the Laurentians. And it's a great feeling. I mean, you walk across, you bump into a Laurentian, or a Georgian, or a Kungian, or a Laurentian. Anywhere while traveling or anywhere, you'll easily come across these people, and then you strike a chord, and you feel that you are one of them. That's wonderful.
Sir, absolutely. You are definitely one of us, sir. We really identify with you, and the entire Laurentian community is they hold you in very, very high esteem, sir. Then thereafter, sir, you were heading a school in Pune where once again I had the good
Yes.
fortune of coming there and
Yeah,
delivering
you are.
talk
I must
to their
admit that you are
parents.
very gracious to accept our invitation. And let me tell you, not taking speaking on your face. Even today, the staff and many of the children there admire the talk you gave in those days. In that on that afternoon in that annual day celebration. Still, I think some of them are in Facebook page with you and communicating with you, and they all really admire you. And more so, you are very visible nowadays compared to those days. And they feel so proud that yes, we know Major Shah, Major Ali. He's the person who came to our annual day. That's what the people to talk about it.
That's very, very kind of you, sir. So, just going by the sequence of events, sir, you have headed so many schools. Like, if you do, would you be having the count? I'm sure you would be having the count, sir.
Uh, that's I mean, in army, of course. See, in the 20 years, more than 2 decades in army, you are willy nilly with the setting up. In fact, I had a singular honor. I can say one thing which I cherish with a lot of happiness is setting up the army school of Kapurthala. Uh, I was given a check of 20,000 rupees in the month of June by my brigade commander. Uh, of a 23 Independent Armored Brigade. I was posted there. We are deployed for uh, op dusk something. That's the first time elections were happening. So we are deployed in the village, somewhere in the general area, Khanna, of Ludhiana, somewhere near Ludhiana. Suddenly, the AWS sanctioned rupees 20,000 rupees to set up a as a seed money to set up a school. So Brigadier Suri was very much interested in setting up a school. He called me, Prasad, take this 20,000 rupees DD, go to rear, that is Kapurthala, and locate a building. conduct, recruit students, carry out admissions, carry out advertisement for teachers. I will be coming in 5 weeks' time. I'm giving you for fifth Monday. I'm coming there to conduct the interviews of the teachers. This is the terms and reference given to me. That is in the month of June. Already admissions are over across the town. So I had only one NCO who was there left in the rear, education NCO. We both chucked out a plan. He went around door to door. And the thing is that we cannot recruit more than 10% of the strength of the 10% of civilians more of the strength of the school. Suppose you have 100 students, I can have only 10 civilians. Otherwise, civilians would love to join an army school, but I have to. It's predominantly, primarily meant for the defense children. Most of the defense children, they're already recruited. They're admitted in the KVs, central schools around. Somehow I convinced them, no, no, this is a good school. Please take admission. We started the army school with a 45 students in a JCO's accommodation. Is a block of about say six flats, six apartments in a block, two in each floor. So we have taken the four apartments, two floors we have taken. One floor where three bedrooms are there of the JSU's accommodation converted into classrooms. Because the size of the classroom, I could not put more than 15 children in each room, two per bench, so seven benches only I could put. So I had to measure the furniture also according to the room size. And the one armored regiment was given the task to set up the blackboards and arrange the furniture and everything. I went to Delhi to Paharganj and got all sorts of training aids and globe and charts and everything from there. In a train, Udyanaba Express, go there and come back next day. Like that, we started the school. Today, it has got more than 3,000 students. It has moved to a different location, the original location, previous location of the KV Kapurthala, and the original KV, old KV moved to in a different location. More than 3,000 plus students, it is thriving, and it's a great satisfaction that we all started with a 40 odd children way back in '93. We started that. There's a great satisfaction. Like that, wherever I was there, I used to do my bit of putting my own, add a brick to the wall somehow. KVs and ASC Center South also, we developed the school in Bangalore. Then Ahmedabad Army School also, I was posted in 11 before going on a intro assignment. There also Army School was in need of some uh, stabilizing the things. So I spent a lot of time in there, and it's a great satisfaction of working with the educational institutions and helping them to prosper.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. So, do you have the count, sir, of let's go by Sainik School, then Military School Ajmer? Do we count in your stint at Intrat as well over here?
Say again, I couldn't get you.
Sir, I'm just counting where you have been on the helm of affairs in a school. So the Sainik School when you were in service, I will tell you the one that I know of. The one
Oh, in
maybe
service,
you can add for.
the first assignment is a science school Punchpura, as a
That's
full-time
it.
job. Then Imtrod. Then of course there is also a lot of teaching was done, and then of course military school Ajmer as a principal. Then I've taken premature for the sake of Lawrence School, but for that I wouldn't have taken premature.
Sir,
And
sir.
again, there's one more landmark I was associated with during my tenure, 2008. We celebrated the 150th anniversary of the Lawrence School, Lovedale. And again, um President Abdul Kalam, that time he was retired. Of course, I was also retired that time. Again, second time, it was a wonderful opportunity to host him. He, in fact, spent a lot of time, almost more than half a day in the school, interacting with the children, staff, and giving away the mementos and prizes to a lot of people.
Sir, that is really commendable, sir. Really, really commendable. So Lovedale, and then you went after Lovedale. Where did you go, sir?
After Lovedale, I came to Vishakhapatnam to head one of the corporate schools called Oak Ridge International School. Oak Ridge has, group has got about that those days about 8 to 10 schools in the country. Now it is taken over by Nord Anglia group. And after Oak Ridge, when I was in Oak Ridge, then I moved out to IB school at Lonavala. From I spent about 2 years in Vizag. After that, I was given opportunity to head a school in Lonavala. It was a wonderful experience again. A IB curriculum, which is relatively new in our country. Still, it is only in the metropolitan cities. It's there. It's not in very common in other type two cities. Wonderful curriculum. It's again a great learning experience to head a IB school for about 3 years, and after that moved to a day school. First time I had a on the trot. 16 years I was in residential schools, and I had a. In fact, I never had a holiday uh, in those 16 years. But ironically, when I was in school, when I was studying as a young boy, I used to abstain from the school a lot of times. I used to stay away from the school to take part in games and sports, my adventure activities and all. I never used to go to school regularly. I think that God has given me punishment, saying that okay, now you had enough of your holidays. Now you stay in the vacation during vacation also in the school. That's what generally we do a lot of work during the vacation in residential schools. A lot of maintenance work takes place. With the children, all staff will go on vacation, but the administrative staff have got a full-fledged workload during vacation because we have to get up the everything done, spick and span for the before the school reopens. It's a racing against time to get the things painted, um, uh, beds, doing the all the dry cleaning of the blankets and your mattresses getting ready, the play fields updated, roof repair work, so many things, electrical repairs, tiling work, so many things. In fact, another word I would like to mention here, during my tenure, I was fortunate to carry out a lot of renovation work in Lawrence School. A lot of bricks, because the extreme weather conditions, a lot of wear and tear on the brickwork. We replaced the bricks, replaced the louvers, the wooden louvers of the tower, the clock tower, and replace the wood in the corridors, prep school, and of course the junior school. The foundation stone was laid for the junior school, which was otherwise in asbestos sheets in those days. The project was conceived at the cost of 12 crores in those days, but by the time it completed, it was the cost gone up to about another 4 more crores. It's about 16 odd crores. It cost the school, and a wonderful building has come up as a junior school now.
Sir. Sir, and then about the school that you were heading in Pune, and I know you have to go and you are busy, and there's someone holding the iPad for you, if I'm not mistaken, or is someone holding it for you, sir, or it's in your lap, the
Uh,
laptop?
which one?
So then after that you went to Pune thereafter, and
Yeah.
sir, let me tell you, all the institutions that you have headed, your students, your teachers, your entire team, they hold you in very, very high regard. And I'm not just saying it, they hold you in very high esteem. And sir, I just want to thank you for your service to the nation in the army. I would like to thank you for your contribution in the education sector of our country. And sir, any last message you would like to give to our viewers before we part for the day, sir?
Uh, uh, Only one thing I will, I mean, as a head of the institution, I always think in terms of what message as a, because children look up to you as a mentor, as a guide, as a caretaker. So what I would like to tell you is, but you should be fearless. Whatever you do honestly, and be fearless. That's what the fear is. One thing which adds to stress. So if you do anything without any fear, whenever you do wrong thing, you have fear. When you do things right, you are never have a fear of anything. When you are fearless, you are stress free, and also always keep the uh, your family and your country. Whatever you do, you ensure that your family will not be affected by that, or will not get any, they are not embarrassed, or at the larger scale, you see that what best you can do to your country. These are the two things would like to advise the children. Be fearless all the time. You will become fearless only when you do things right, in the right manner.
Sir, sir, thank you very much for your time, sir. Truly grateful to you for everything and
It's
for the
always
wonderful questions
pleasure,
you asked.
pleasure, Ali, to chat with you. And you are doing a wonderful job. I'm so proud being a Laurentian, and I wish you great success. And it's always pleasure watching you on television. And you are frank and candid. Your views you put across without any fear, and that really speaks of a Laurentian.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Jai Hind, sir.
Jai
Jai
Hind.
Hind, sir.